Welcome back to another video tutorial on innate immunity part 2. Okay, let's get started. So in the previous video lecture we studied what is immunity, the types of immunity, and we started with innate immunity, so under which we completed with the factors affecting innate immunity in the first line of defense. So now in this video lecture we'll continue with the innate immunity, that is second line of defense. So and yes, we got to know that first line of defense or the barriers are the one which act immediately when the pathogen enters your body. Okay, and so they are the one, they fight with the pathogens and they prevent the pathogens so that they do not gain entry into your body. So but in case if the first line of defense is broken, that is the pathogens have successfully won the battle against barriers and they've gained entry into your body, so that's when the second line of defense will come into play. Okay, so here in the second line of defense there are various cells involved, so all the cells will come into play. They try to kill the bacteria or the pathogen which has entered your body. So mainly they are white blood cells, so under which it is phagocytes, natural killer cells, dendritic cells, mast cells, complement proteins, and a lot more. All these cells will come into play and they try to kill the pathogens. Okay, the thing is all these cells are non-specific, meaning they do not know what kind of pathogen is entering the body. Instead they act similarly to all the pathogens, and one important thing is they do not retain memory. So memory in the sense they do not know even if the same pathogen tries to enter your body the second time. They do not know. They just react to all the pathogens in a similar way. Okay, now we'll study one by one what are the cells involved in the second line of defense. The first cell is the phagocytes or the eating cells. So yes, as the name tells, eating cells here, what do these particular cells do? They circulate throughout your body. They'll keep circulating throughout your body and they recognize if there is some threat present in your body. That is, if any antigen or if any pathogen is causing any problem to you, immediately they try to engulf, meaning they try to swallow it and they try to destroy them. This is how the phagocytic cells work. Okay. Okay, now we'll study in detail about the phagocytic cells. Now all these are the phagocytic cells. Among them the first one is basophils. So they account for merely 1% of the WBCs. Okay, and they come under granulocytes because as you can see in the picture here, so they have granules present in them. Okay, and what is the function of basophils is, basophils will be circulating in the bloodstream. Okay, so and when some of the allergens, like for example animal dander, some dust, some pollen enters into your body, no, they release heparin and histamine, and this heparin and histamine is the one which causes inflammatory response. Inflammatory response means swelling, redness will be caused mainly by this heparin and histamine. Okay, so that is the function of basophils. So yes, that means here this innate immune system and these cells, no, they are producing some symptoms so that your body becomes alert that yes, some pathogen or allergen has entered your body. Okay, and the second type of cell is the mast cell. So this mast cell, no, they are similar to basophils. Okay, so they also release histamines and other mediators during allergic reactions, and they also cause inflammation. Okay, and they will mainly be found in the tissues. They'll be permanently found in the tissues like skin, lungs, and mucous membranes. Okay, and so these mast cells, no, they are very important in wound healing and defense against pathogens. And the next one is monocytes. Monocytes, no, they are called as garbage trucks or vacuum cleaners, and they are also precursors for macrophages and dendritic cells. That means monocytes are the one which will get converted into macrophages and dendritic cells. Okay, so they comprise about 2 to 6% of the WBCs. And why they are called as garbage trucks or vacuum cleaners is because, so this monocytes, no, so they will be, again they will be circulating in the body. So but when the body shows some inflammation, or if the body shows some infection, no, they travel from the bloodstream to the tissues. Okay, tissues where it is showing inflammation or infection, and there they differentiate into macrophages and dendritic cells. Okay, so that's why we call it as the precursors of macrophages and dendritic cells. Okay, and once the macrophages are produced, no, this macrophages will eat up everything, the old cell debris, viruses, bacteria, they eat up everything. So hence they are also called as garbage trucks or vacuum cleaners. Okay, and then next one is macrophages. Yes, macrophages are produced from monocytes, as I told. Okay, and this macrophages, what they do, as I told, they engulf, that is they swallow and digest the pathogens lacking specific surface proteins. So now what is the surface proteins? Now our body cells. Okay, so the healthy body cells, no, so all the body cells will have a specific surface protein. It's just like a tag. Okay, so when the surface protein is present, macrophages do not recognize them. They will make out this is the body cells, this is our body cells, and they do not harm them. Whereas the cells which do not have the specific surface proteins, no, they kill them. Now for example, cancerous cells, microbes, cellular debris, they are not a part of our body and they do not contain specific surface proteins, right? So this macrophages can differentiate. Okay, so they will identify which does not have the specific surface protein, and they engulf and they kill them. That is a function of macrophages. Okay, so next cell is the dendritic cells. So as we know now that dendritic cells are also differentiated from monocytes. Okay, and so we call them as dendritic cells because they have tree-like structure. Okay, and the main function of dendritic cell is that they act as a link between the innate immunity and the adaptive immunity. So they are also present in the tissues. So like lymph nodes, they are present in skin, mucosal membranes. Okay, and the main function of dendritic cell is that when the foreign antigen enters your body, they capture that antigen and they move to the nearby lymph nodes. They interact with the T cells, they interact with the B cells, and they present the antigen to them. Okay, as a result, the acquired immunity will be, or the adaptive immunity will be initiated. And that's the reason we call them as a link between the innate immunity and the adaptive immunity. Okay, and the next cell is the neutrophils. Okay, so these are the first immune cells to respond. So if any pathogen enters, they are the one who respond first, and they contribute about 65% of the WBCs. Okay, and so they will be circulating in the bloodstream and they squeeze from the capillaries into the site of the infection, and they also release some enzymes so that the pathogen will be killed, and they also will send out signals to alert the other immune cells. Okay, and this neutrophils, no, they're also called as patrol tissue. That is, once they're produced from bone marrow, so they will have a short lifespan of only about 8 hours. Okay, and then the next cell is the natural killer cells. So in this natural killer cells are the only cytotoxic cells of innate immunity. So that means in the amongst the innate immune cells, no, so this is the only cell which will produce toxins, and these cells, no, they mainly respond to the virus infected cells and the tumor cells. Okay, so they release toxins and they kill the virus infected cells and the tumor cells. And why do we call this as natural killer cells is because they do not require any prior activation or any priming is not required. So it will act immediately, detect, and it will act immediately, and that's the reason we call it as natural killer cells. Okay, and the last one is eosinophils. So they are kidney shaped and they mainly target on the parasites in the body. Okay, now apart from the cells which participate in the innate immune system, so there will be some chemical signals be produced and there will be some responses, some symptoms which appear in the innate immune response. Okay, so yeah, So this chemical signals, though, they mediate the immune response. Among them, the first one is cytokines. So these are the signaling proteins that are released by the immune cells, and they communicate and coordinate the immune response, and they promote the inflammation, and they attract more immune cells to the site of infection. And the second is complement proteins. So they enhance the ability of antibodies and phagocytic cells to clear the pathogen from an organism. And it also shows inflammatory response, that is, when the tissue are damaged or infected, the inflammatory response is triggered. This leads to the increased blood flow, swelling, and the recruitment of immune cells to the affected area. Okay, and this response helps to contain and eliminate the pathogens. And then fever may also be induced. Okay, so as a part of immune response, so this can inhibit the pathogen, and it will enhance the activity of the immune cells.